Hello and welcome to the WYUHD podcast, where the neckbeard myself gives you a bunch of opinions that you most likely will indulge in. So, okay, today's subject matter is based off a question that Onat gave me, and it was today's current console generation rant, which, quite frankly, I'm not going to click on the video because I usually saw a couple of videos of this guy previously. He just goes on to a tangent where he'll swear, he'll cuss, he'll punch the wall, then he'll end up doing what he was against for anyway. But anyway, but, you know, usually what I just read what Stuttering Craig put about what the guy was saying. It summed it up for me, so I didn't have to click the video. Thank you, Craig. But yeah, this whole subject matter is the current gen gonna die out? Now, for a hippie standpoint, some people are thinking the world's gonna end. No, it's not. There's a lot of problems, like Craig also brought up, which I feel the same way, is the current generation does not have the same problems. And for me, I do not see these problems anywhere, other than a couple of flaws here and there with some of the marketing and some of the other problems, like there's too much generic FPS shooters getting published. I mean, yes, it does sell to a branch point or a olive branch to the consumer, that most of these competitive addicted gamers to this type of product and keep on playing it. They just buy the same crap every year, material income comes into their pocket and just ends up leaving, and people end up buying all this stuff. I mean, it even goes towards the mobile market. Some people get the same version of Angry Bird, you know, even though that's free, and they get all these cell phones and all that, and it just adds up to this. As long as the developer gets paid enough and keep on going, I don't see anything happening to consoles. You have too many independent companies just branching out there, going out there and just doing these new interesting innovative ideas. You got Notch going on the Xbox 360 pretty soon. You got him on the Sony phone there. I can't remember the name of it, but again, you just have companies such as just Mojang just going out there and doing stuff like this. You got Zen Studios, which is the pinball company that publishes and works on a bunch of different games out there. Again, you just have all these interesting companies out there just going out and doing innovative ideas that keeps some of these consoles strong. I mean, some people don't even focus on FPS shooting on these new gen consoles. They usually just buy some of the third party, if not one notch down of supposedly the highest selling games, and just enjoy those more than the supposed to be the big hyped great thing on the consoles. Again, most people buy these consoles because they're more essential than a computer. They don't want to have to upgrade their cards. They don't want to have to go out there and just spend all kinds of money, like $2,000 on the damn computer, so that way they can play it for 8 months and realize they have to upgrade again because I'm super duper. Even though this isn't necessarily true, there's ways you can turn the settings down in certain games, and you can play some of these games in a somewhat lower setting and be able to enjoy it just the same. But the whole point is that some people want this supposedly pretty looking experience, but they just don't want to pay arm and a leg. Even though, yes, some people do pay $250 for a freaking console and $60 a game, which to me I think is ludicrous, quite frankly. I mean, if there's only one problem I think that needs to go and should die out, is a $60 game. I mean, $60 freaking dollars for a damn game. Now, I can understand the cost of these games being somewhat dramatic, but I've seen games that have been published by mostly independent developers that had more substance, more depth, and more gameplay ability, as well as look damn gorgeous. For example, Red Orchestra 2 came out just recently, and it has something a little bit over the Battlefield 2 game as well, even not quite over the arcadey style, but just a depth. It's $40. It looks great, plays good for a multiplayer experience. There's so much physics and depth, interesting little bits about it, and that's the thing. I mean, you just have companies such as Tripwire developing games that are just as good, if not a little bit better, over the previous installments, and making the market look and stay fresh. And as long as companies such as that make fresh products and keep this going, that I see this as not being a dying market at all, especially with consoles. I mean, computer is gonna be very strong. You have very much so a lot of independent companies just coming out there, publishing very affordable, very snazzy looking games, very cheap, like $5, $10, $15 versus these major marketing companies charging like $60 a head for a game. And these people are going to do a little bit more better with each unit sold at the end of the day. Even with most of the MMO market, I mean, some people try to experiment with MMOs and consoles. Some people just don't think it's going to work out. And quite frankly, I think it would do excessively well on the consoles. I mean, this is just theory for me, but I think that if you want to keep a console going, you got to put something that will keep a gamer going. Something a little bit repetitive, yes, but something that's addicting and repetitive, that keeps the people's boredom to a minimum and just keeps them going. As long as people keep playing these consoles, as long as the vibes and everything for the console look high enough. For example, you know, the traffic going through the console, the online services, all the DLC being purchased, all that'll add up towards being a very successful console. It'll keep it active. Most investors will go into this console. More money towards that. The stock market will go up for certain companies. I mean, yes, Nintendo took a dramatic drag from the market recently because of the Wii U. I think a lot of investors just said this and just got out of the dodge. But, you know, again, I think that the console market's going to be doing good. I mean, if one falls, another's going to come back up, and most likely, I mean, companies such as OnLive, you know, some people just don't care about that too much because they're just very narcissistic towards the idea of principle, which is fine because some people just want physical media, and that's, again, to me, is no problem on my shoulders. I'm very open to digital and physical, but I could see that digital is going to be the more dominant thing in the future to a point, and it's just because it's cheaper, it's more affordable, and it will keep all these companies afloat. It's been just shipping all these discs and all these cases which contain a code, which contain a disk, which contains some data, which will probably become irrelevant after a while, because if these companies go tits up, as people say, yes, you'll have the physical media in your hand, but it will be completely useless to you. It will be, because of the companies such as Steam goes under, which I really doubt that. And yeah, I mean, that's just how I see it. Is I don't think anything as such as this is going to go down. I mean, most of these consoles are trying this this code voucher thing now, which that's just going to go failure right off the bat, which it is, because some people are just not tolerating that shit. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I just think it's generally not going to die out. It's going to be stooped down a little bit because the economical problem at the moment with the government, with the United States of America at least anyway, and everywhere else, is take a little bit of a turn, because most of these companies and most investors are mostly American or European as well as Japanese. So you're gonna notice, you just take a look and glance at the economical standpoint of each country you see invested in each one of these consoles, and you'll see the problem right there. It isn't because the consoles are going to be doing necessarily dramatically bad. It's just things are just not adding up for the consumer to keep on purchasing expensive hardware or paying $60 a head for each game, because it's going to be a few consumers that can be able to do this, but not everyone's going to be able to do this anymore. That's just how it is. The fancy spending spree is just came down to a halting crawl because of the realization that, hey, wait a minute, we're not that rich after all. Hey, wait a minute, all this shit's happening around us. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. And if you want to really do this picketing, the world's gonna end thing, take a look around you. It isn't necessarily because of the consoles doing bad. It's because of the government around us is doing bad. And while you're still going to have some digital medium as well as a lot of titles being published, just look at it around like this. It's just going to be a steady stream. It's not going to be this rapid river we all remember. Enjoy the ride, grab whatever game you can, and just enjoy it. This is Dan Van Dam from the DailyGamePad.com as well as Worth Universe HD on YouTube, and take it easy, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. And oh man, such a steady stream.